the quantity d minus 30 times the quantity d plus 30, all minus 7 is equal to negative 7. What is a solution to the given equation, right? So they don't give us a lot, they just give us this equation, and they're telling us to find a solution, right? So that implies that there are more than one solution, right? Because they just said a solution, so there could be one or two solutions, right? So let's figure out first what is the concept that we're being tested on. We are being tested on quadratic equations, right? And how do I know that we are being tested on quadratic equations? How do I know that? Well, quadratic equations, when they are factored, right, they always will have two binomial terms, or terms that are made up of a variable and some constant, and then another variable and some other constant, right? Since there's two like items in this parentheses, that's called a binomial, and quadratic equations will have two of those, right? Especially when you're in like factored form, right? You know, x plus whatever, like x plus 1, x minus 1, right? So the main thing we're looking out for is two variables, right? When multiplied together will form some sort of squared term, right? Because we know that if we were to multiply and simplify this two parentheses terms, we would get a d squared, right? So that just tells me this is a quadratic equation, okay? So how do we solve quadratic equations? Well, we first always have to do what? We have to factor, right? Factor, and then 2, we have to set equal to 0, okay? So those are the two things we want to keep in mind when solving quadratic equations, right? And then there's actually a third step that what I'll show you, and once you have the third step, you just gotta, find both solutions, right? That would be find both solutions. Usually you would only have to deal with two, but sometimes they might give you three. So lucky for us, we already have a factored version of this quadratic equation. We just need to set it to 0, right? Because right now it isn't set to 0. So let's do that. We will start by always rewriting our equation to keep ourselves organized. So d minus 30, d plus 30 minus 7 is equal to 7. Now we just need to add 7 on both sides. And once we add 7 on both sides, oh, that's a minus 7, right? Yep, so then this cancels out, and then this minus 7 cancels out. So we will then have, if I go down a little bit further, we will then have d plus 30, d plus